Good morning, viewers across the continent of Africa, ladies and gentlemen, the globe, all the way from the West African coast of Ghana, of the Gold Coast, formerly known as Gold Coast, in the Atlantic Ocean, all the way back to United Kingdom, London, Kampala, Uganda, Kenya, Nairobi, Kigali, Rwanda, Cape Town, South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa, Harare, Zimbabwe. Good morning. Good morning across the continents of Africa, in New York, Washington, in Moscow, China, Beijing, Australia, and Abuja, Lagos, Nigeria, a state in limbo, a state at crossroads. Good morning. Good morning, Africa, in Democratic Republic of Congo, in Sudan, the war that has not stopped. Good morning. The people of Sudan yearn for freedom, yearn for peace. We shall not keep quiet to talk about the peace that we need in Africa. The people of Libya, good morning. We shall not keep quiet, and we shall not leave you without a voice. We shall call out against those. We shall call you out if you are supplying arms to the people of Libya, to the people of Sudan to kill each other, to the people across the continent of Africa. Good morning. I am Dr. David Matsaga, a Pan-Africanist, political scientist, conflict resolution expert. If you want to solve your conflict, call me. I'll give you clues. The only man who has got a redemption strategy for Africa. There is no shortcut. Some people, when I talk about redemption strategy, they don't understand. They better understand redemption strategy is 1, reconciliation. 2, accountability. 3, restitution or reparation. 4, forgiveness. 5, healing. If Africa does not heal, if Africa does not heal, if Africa does not heal, where does it go? And we are not going to keep quiet to be silenced by mediocres of nothing but emptiness. We are going to speak. We are not inciting anybody. We are telling the truth. Africa needs to go back to a factory setting. Africa needs to go back to a rebirth. 40 years ago, Africa, China was the poorest country, sharing its rice with my own country, Uganda, where I was born and raised. China went back to a factory setting to find out what has killed Africa. To find out, China. Isn't it time for us Africans? I quote Mbeki, my greatest friend, Thabo Mbeki, said, we need a renaissance. He was shouted down. I and Thabo Mbeki, we have been on peace missions across Africa. The peace mission of Darfur, the Sudan that they have killed now, the Sudan that is dying now. It is Mbeki, Matsaga, and the rest that made it. The full problem was over. People did not listen. Bashir did not listen to us either. Where is he? You need a redemption strategy in order to solve the problems. You need to sit down and have wider dialogue over now so many things. Otherwise, we're going nowhere. Let it be a message to the people of Africa that the entire Africa, I'm not talking about your country, no. I'm talking about Africa. I'm beyond your country. I am an African. I can fit anywhere. I want to thank the people of Ghana for allowing my television station and my radio station. We broadcast, we free, we talk, we change, we make things happen. The Labour government in the United Kingdom wants change, a change for the better, a better African policy. Dr. David Lammy, my dear great young man, this makes things work for Africa. I've stood for generations in Africa. I've defended Zimbabwe. I've defended, and I said Mugabe should not be isolated. Indeed, I won the game. Today, Britain looks to not isolate Mugabe. And my Labour Prime Minister, my Labour leader, friend of mine, Sir Stammer, my good brother, the former DPP, my good friend James Braithwaite, Lord, sir, let's make Africa better. Let's not isolate Africa. Let's not slam sanctions on Africa. Let's change Africa, make it better for the better of the generations to come. My broadcast here today, like it or not, is a podcast. I don't need many numbers. If you want to join in, you can join. But my podcast is very simple. I'm not reading notes. I'm simply telling you, I'm asking questions. Why is Congo still Congo? From 1961 to date, Congo is bleeding. Why? Why are there rebels in Congo? I want people to answer me questions. And don't answer me with emptiness. Answer me with material. The problem of Congo is a state. And I repeat, the problem of Congo is a state. Some people walk around here telling us, confusing us, flying here and there. Rubbish. The Congo issue needs a state. The people fighting there want a state. The people there dying, refugees, 6 million internally displaced within North Kivu. They want a state. Let's not beat about the bush. I'm an African. Africa gives me the color, the strength, the courage to speak my mind. Speak your mind. Don't speak my mind. Don't control my mind. Matsaga Africa perspective speaks its mind. That's not Congo in a state as it is not governable. Yes. And the people are not talking the truth. The president's 9 states surrounding Congo are not talking the truth. Matsaga is talking the truth. Go and kill me if you want. You can kill me. Plot to kill me. But I don't want God to ask me, why didn't you tell the world? I've told the world today. The problem of Congo can only be solved if Congo is rearranged. You can go to fight until Angel Gabriel comes closer. South African troops can be sent in. You send in the troops. Send in as many as you want. But if you don't rearrange it, you won't have peace. The question of Sudan, which worries me as a Pan-African, there are people claiming to be, I am the chairman of African Union. I am the secretary, chairman of African Union Commission. Mr. Faki, Muhammad Faki of Chad, your term is coming. You better go. Leave that seat. Leave it. You are corrupt. You have destroyed Africa. You have done everything. You have sold our organization to the French. We have a new government in the United Kingdom. We are not going to be, which will not be in favor of your policies. We don't hide. Dr. Lamy doesn't hide. He will not hide. We tell you as it is, haters or not. We are not seeking business from anywhere, from anybody. We are protecting Africa. African Union Commission is corrupt. It must quickly go to elections. Give it to the right contender, a person who understands the plight of the people of Africa, not a person who sells Africa to the French hegemony. Sudan is bleeding. United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia. What is your problem? What is your problem? You have enslaved us. You bought us as slaves. But we don't see the slaves in the Middle East. Any black person in the Middle East either goes to work. Where are the slaves that you took from Africa? Hello? Hello? Where are the slaves you took from East Africa? Bagamoyo, Ujiji, Chigoma, Mwanza, Mombasa, Maputo. Where are they? You threw them in Indian Ocean? Turkey, stop meddling in Africa. Stop selling your arms to Africa to kill us. We don't have a relationship with you. You just came, collected us, you dumped us somewhere in the Red Sea. Where are the black people? At least there are black people across the continent of Africa. I was listening to this clip podcast of Dr. Matsaga. Matsaga Africa Perspective. It is going to be coming daily, as long as I live. I'm not against any president in Africa. I'm against bad manners. And I will speak my mind. If you don't want me, fine. But you will be wanted, not me. Now is the time. Emerson Mnangagwa, wake up. Seek reconciliation. Redemption strategy. I brought you the documents. Emerson Mnangagwa. I gave you the documents in our 6 hours seeking. Use it. The bad men have come in Westminster. You will be in trouble. The Ketihoys are in Westminster. I told you. I gave you those documents. Sit down, my brother. You are my elder. You are my friend for 24 years. Yes, I've stood for you. You know what? I don't want to say it here. You know. I told you 6 hours of our discussion. Your Excellency, I told you, seek that channel. It is catching up. Don't leave it by space. Across Zambia, AFCOM is building a base to destabilize the Great Lakes region. HH, my brother HH, my student HH, you used to come to my seminars in London from Birmingham University. What has gone wrong with you? Where is the Pan-Africanism? Where is it? Where is it? I'm not PLO. PLO is my great friend. He speaks his mind. I speak my mind. But I speak from a background of suffering. I've suffered because of conflicts. I wouldn't like to see another African person suffer because of conflicts. Our country, Uganda, had conflicts. And I want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, my brother, elder, my editor, decided way back in 2006 that enough of fighting had taken place. Let Ugandans sit down and find a solution. Mr. President, I thank you. I give a credit where it is due. When we sat down, when people nominated me to be the chief negotiator, chief mediator, not anybody else, and you will not take that title away from me. I negotiated that peace. I negotiated the documents that work today. I negotiated the way of reconciliation in northern Uganda today. And I want to thank you, Mr. President, for having brought it back, for having made it very clear, for having made it so well that it is functioning. We brought back over 50,000 refugees, abducted people back to Uganda. Some have joined the Uganda People's Defense Forces. If they are not there, come and accuse me. If they are not there, show me if they are not soldiers that came, who came back from Konyi's rebellion, who are in UPDF, then you must be lying. And if you lie, God is watching you. They are there. I brought them back. We signed amnesty. Those who refuse the amnesty, like Konyi and others, I'm not an international policeman. I am not an international policeman. I did an agreement by the terms of reference, Your Excellency, and I finished. I delivered the peace that you wanted. I came to Kampala in 2008. We shook hands. When I shake hands with an elder, I don't come back with a fist to fight you. I will make an announcement shortly after this podcast. There will be a televised podcast on why I am not interested in anything to do with Uganda's political opposition or politics. My values are more needed on Pan-African scale. Your Excellency, you did very well. The peace in our country, we might have problems of some difficulties of coordinated movement of political science, which is normal. Those who think that democracy comes overnight, no. Britain is 1,000 years democratic, but before that, Britain killed. Yes, it changed hands, changed shades, Anglo-Saxon, the Hamites, the Ottoman, the Huns, all of them were there fighting. The barbarians came and overran 900 over years. United Kingdom was not stable. My dear brothers and sisters, wherever you are, let this podcast take you through the soberness of what we want for Africa. Is Africa changing? Ladies and gentlemen, the situation in Africa today puts us at a dilemma, at crossroads. Until we go back to a factory resetting, Matsaga Africa perspective thinks a factory resetting, a rebirth, will create harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, what else is available for you to understand that Africa needs you. We don't need violence. I'm one of the few people who does not like to see violence. Because if I have seen a lot of violence from the 1978, from my age, from my first year when I entered senior secondary school in 1971. On the same day, 25th January, Idi Amin violated my rights. I had a metallic box going to be delivered in Manjas High School. My father had to leave me in a taxi and run away because Idi Amin was a list in the car where we are. He was on the list of those who were supposed to be killed. I saw that it was the first violence. Who of you witnessed a father taking you to the school, a senior secondary school, with your grandnuts and popcorns in your metallic box, and you are left to find the school yourself when a coup has just taken place? That is me. Some of you think maybe we are equal in brains. Yeah, brains differ, or age differ. I will never hide. 71, I entered the senior secondary school, 25th January, the day of the military coup. Look at me, where I am today. I saw violence. So I see violence as one of the worst tools. Why don't we widen a dialogue? Widen dialogue. Chamisa, what's your problem? Bob Wine, what's your problem? Your problem is not reporting to the Uganda, to United Kingdom. No more. Because the Labour government, where some of us have toiled for over 38 years, where we are not going to accept that stupidity or policy of where you come to report. Don't report to Ugandans. You are not a prefect of Ugandans to report to them. Go and report to George Soros in the US, but not in this place this time. The Labour government will not take this type of life stupidity of where opposition leaders on the African continent run to report their people. Why don't you sit down and have a redemption strategy? I talk about redemption strategy and the people don't understand. I have given you the 5 pillars of redemption strategy. It worked in Guatemala. Sorry. It has worked in Guatemala. It has worked in Colombia. It worked in South Africa. It worked in Sri Lanka. It worked in northern Uganda between the Lord Resistance Army and the government of Uganda. That is what we call a redemption strategy. Understand today, if you have no brains, come for a lecture. Accountability. South Sudan cannot stand without accountability. The biggest agenda in a redemption strategy is none other than accountability. If you don't account, you can't have peace. If you don't reconcile, you can't have peace. If you don't forgive, you can't have peace. If you don't reparate or restitute, good English here, of Shakespeare, which I studied J.A. Bright, you don't have peace. If you don't heal, if you don't heal, you have no peace. I'm preaching peace here. My father wanted me to become a bishop. When I left Senior 4, in the place where I was thrown with a metallic box on 25th January 19 71, the same day, my father wanted me to be a bishop. After O levels, he took me to Bishop Tucker College, Mukono, to study theology. Because in my degree of O levels, in my exams, I passed divinity with a distinction too. My father said, you know how to recite a Bible? You pass divinity? Then a mixture of English literature with another two distinction. Oh my God, I mixed up. Then I passed sciences, what is called physics and chemistry. I passed. Biology, I passed. The only thing that I did not pass, ladies and gentlemen, and never to give me is mathematics. Matsaga Africa perspective, mathematics. I failed mathematics. So my father said, you, the late father, may his soul rest in peace. This gentleman, may his soul rest in peace. Rest in peace, Dad. My uncles came at night and stole me from that school, from Bishop Tucker College, with my mattress at night. They said, what the hell is this? You can't be a bishop. My uncle took me to Uganda College of Commerce. He wanted me to do accounts. But I told him, Father, I cannot do accounts because I failed mathematics. He said, no, Uncle. Uncle said, you have to stay here. Other than becoming a bishop, you are going to be deadly man in the future if you become a bishop. No, 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 no. Another uncle said, no. This is during Idi Amin days now. 75, 76. Another uncle came at night. Again, came as if he was visiting this uncle. Then when the uncle went to work, he said, oh, dear me, can we go to back home? And I have got a place in senior 5 in Mbale Senior Secondary School. A headmaster has given me a course of BCG, biology, chemistry, and geography, because I had passed geography with a distinction 2 again. Jesus Christ. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Africa, the man talking to you. And I had problems. I said, where do I go? Until Amin started earmarking everybody. 77, when he was killing people, all of us now became rebels. Some of us ended up in Tanzania. That's how we know President Museveni. If you ask him Matsaga, he doesn't need to ask you, who are you? Who is that man? He knows me from 1978. 79, we worked to overthrow Rule Binaisa together with His Excellency in Nairo Mansions, in Kampala. Salim Saleh knows me. He won't say who is Matanga. He knows me. They know me. All these people are my comrades. The only thing is that modus operandi, all of us, me, I'm a UPC diehard. I don't want Obote to ask me questions when I find him in the grave, that what happened. But I subscribe to His Excellency, President Museveni's good policies. There are people who mistake me to be an opposition leader. When I shook hands as a tribesman, a Mugisu, who saw a knife in 1972, long time ago, I don't come back to change my way. No! Not opposition to do what? The people who are in opposition today in my country, Uganda, are the same people who did not want opposition, who did not want political parties. Basically, did not want political parties. He harassed me. He owes me an apology, Besigye. You harassed me. While I was on BBC, you were Minister of State for Security. You harassed me. I don't want to cry tears here. I've forgiven you. This other one, Bob Wine, were you born? No. No. Here you are. And you know everything. Mm-mm. We want a stable, peaceful country. I give President Museveni credit for having kept Uganda peaceful, for having contributed to the regional peace. And that regional peace is seen in Somalia. Without Uganda sending troops to Somalia, there was no Somalia. There would be no Somalia anymore. Mr. President, thank you. People feared to send the troops. We Ugandans don't fear. All of us, even me, if I grow younger, you give me a gun, I'll go. I don't need to learn how to cock it. Some people pretend to threaten people with guns. They don't know how even to cock it when it gets a problem. They don't know. Mr. President, thank you for the peace. I give you credit openly so that there are people who went to school compounds, but they did not go to school classes room. I went to the classroom. Yes, therefore I'm not going to be naive. There are people who went to school compound. You can go to a school compound and lie in a dormitory, but you don't go to the classroom to look for information. Dr. Matsaga looked for information. What I'm speaking here, I'm not reading from any notes or from a prompter in front of me, like some people pretend in Africa that they are reading speeches. Useless. Mr. President, thank you. My president, thank you. Keep that peace. Some of us are not going to disrupt my original text. Is Africa changing? Yes. Let's go to Nigeria. A state of Nigeria is in limbo state. The South does not know the North. The North does not know the South. The North kills the South. The South mourns for help. It's a state of limbo. I am happy that one member of parliament or Senate in Nigerian Senate was listening to my proposal of rearrangement of Nigeria. Unfortunately, his rearrangement is not the one I'm interested in. I'm interested in a different rearrangement. You can't say Africa must have unity of purpose in Africa. When one part of Africa is bleeding, how will you have unity? When Congo is bleeding, how will you have unity? When Libya is divided by the French have divided Libya and we are keeping quiet. We are even shaking hands with them. We meet this Macron and shake hands with him. He has literally divided Libya and is stealing Libyan oil. And we say we are united. Muhammad Faki has connived with General Khalifa Haftar, has connived with General, my friend Hamid. They have connived with the United Arab Emirates. They kill people in that corridor. No regrets. Go and say, do what you want. I'm not begging them. I hate anybody who brings war to Africa. Even if you are bringing good things, don't sell us arms to kill each other. Then you say you are very good. No. Stay with your things. Africa will wake up and wake up. It's the only continent that has very good weather climate. Do you have vegetation? Do you have vegetation? Do you have it? We have a war in Somalia that has lasted since 1991. Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast will come to you live and it's going to be recorded. If there is anybody who feels offended, go and ask God, because what I'm speaking are facts. If you say you are not supplying arms as UAE, You are not supplying arms to General Hamid Daglo, a man I knew in 1994, when some of you were not even anywhere there. I knew General Daglo and General Burhan in 1994 because of the northern Uganda crisis of Konyi. Bashir invited us to Khartoum, and I met them. They were both over the lower age. One was a lieutenant colonel, and the other one was a colonel. Both of them were leaders of Janjaweed. So if you think you can excuse one and take one, if you think you can surrender Mr. Bashir to the ICC, who is going to go there? Mr. Bashir is 89, coming to 90 years. He's about to die. General Burhan and General Hamid Daglo, you would be the people to face the knife in International Criminal Court in Hague. You will need Matsaga's help if I'm still alive. If you try to do a terrible mistake of handing over your fellow general, you are dead. Don't do that. Have you seen America handing over George Bush? Have you seen Britain handing over Tony Blair? Tony Blair told us he sexed the document of destroying Iraq. He came and apologized to the whole world. The document was fake, but you have killed Iraq. And we have refugees coming to the English Channel. Dr. Rami, I was telling Sarah Jones and others in your cabinet, don't bring Tony Blair policies near you. We shall ban, because Tony Blair told us a lie that there were a nuclear weapon in Iraq. Where do they keep these nuclear weapons? Where? Where is the nuclear weapon? Where is the storage for these nuclear weapons? There was a big nuclear weapon. He killed Iraq. Iraq created terrorists. Terrorists, ISIS came to kill people. It has spread all over. We have destroyed Middle East. Now we have people aiming at coming at a small island, which is already overcrowded. What is our problem? We want to export them to Rwanda. Is Africa a dumping place? Is Africa a dumping place? Are we a dumping place in Africa? That Africa does not see. In Somalia, the Al-Shabaab have offices. Our Ugandan troops die there on a daily basis in Sector 1. But the Africa, the nation that hosts these offices of terror groups, is Qatar, in Doha. I've been there quietly, clandestinely, as an investigative journalist. Offices of all terror groups are there. You find somebody speaking Swahili whom you have never seen. I say it comes from Somalia. So let me ask you one thing. Al-Shabaab strikes us in new uniforms. Do they steal these uniforms from where? Is there a depot in Saudi Arabia where these people get these uniforms that are similar to those in Saudi Arabia and Qatar? As an African, I am asking, is Africa changing? The killings in Iran, Amazonia, is Africa changing? Let's have another link coming, because the other link went off. Is that link is not working? My production team down in Harare link up with Nairobi and London. Please produce the link. There's another link that I need. So for people who are following, people are asking me. As I proceed, look at the Africa we want. Cameroon, Amazonians are killing each other today. Paul Biya is a leader who does not like to hear of English-speaking countries. He doesn't want to hear people speak English. Mr. Paul Biya, what's your problem? What could be the problem, Mr. Paul Biya? You hate everybody who speaks English. What's the problem? You kill people in Amazonia, and you don't live in Cameroon. You live in Switzerland. You live in Switzerland. It is sad, therefore, for Africa to have leadership. The changing situation in Africa does not give us the morale to discuss. But changing a situation, we need to go back to a rebirth. Are our policies, democratic dispensation, democratic policies, are they good? Yes or no? We must evaluate ourselves and find out who we are. Is Africa changing? Yes, Africa is changing, but let's not change in violence. Let's change by talking. Let's change by having dialogue. Let's change by sitting down to evaluate what has gone wrong and find peaceful ways of going out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a podcast for today. Until tomorrow at 11, again, and 9 o'clock, Ghanaian time, London time, 11 o'clock East African time, 8 o'clock Central African time, and the West African time, the same, 9 o'clock. I am Dr. David Matsaga on Africa, Matsaga Africa Perspective. Good morning.